So yeah, the best anime this season probably goes to Vivy Fluorite, and although I did briefly went over why the show is really good and a must watch in my best spring 2021 anime rundown, that video doesn't even begin to convey just how amazing this show truly is. This 2021 anime original is a literal masterpiece from Studio WIT, and it definitely took my breath away with its insane visuals, and you should really go watch it now if you haven't already. It's a show about a badass idol AI trying to stop the future destruction of humanity by the hands of their own AI creations, so it's basically Terminator meets Hatsune Miku. And oh, it's also written by Tappei Nagatsuki, the dude responsible for ReZero, so you know it's gonna be good and will have a lot of dark themes. However, if what I said isn't enough to convince you to watch Vivy Fluorite, why not stick around to hear more reasons why this show is a freaking masterpiece in terms of the premise, the characters, the music, and the animation. But before I start, feel free to drop a like or subscribing to the channel if you enjoyed the video, or if you hate the video, I will gladly listen to your complaints in the comment section down below. So let's get on with the video, shall we?
私の使命は歌でみんなを幸せにすること。
Again, if you haven't given this anime a watch or still don't know much about it, then I'll give a quick rundown of the premise. Like I said just now, the main premise of the show revolves around trying to prevent a future where AI rises up to kill off their human creators. But instead of sending back a buff Austrian man this time, they send a cheeky AI named Matsumoto 100 years into the past to meet with the first autonomous AI named Diva, or referred to as Vivy later on, so they can work together and rewrite the horrible AI apocalypse that awaited humanity. Okay, maybe the concept doesn't really sound all that special, and I somewhat agree it's an overused, stereotypically cliche way to tell a story. But man, seeing a pretty idol girl starting to fight out of nowhere, you know it's gonna be fucking good. Like, even if something has been done many times, it doesn't mean it's bad. It just comes down to the execution of the writing, and I can say that Tappei Nagatsuki did a fantastic job with the storytelling. He actually did a great job with depicting certain philosophical and ethical questions, like are AIs bad, and whether or not AIs are actually qualified to be given rights, and are the people opposing the idea of AIs actually bad. Of course, most of these arguments are a bit overblown to make the story more interesting, but it does reflect our own real world in certain aspects. So if you like this sort of grey area themes, you're probably gonna enjoy this. Also, similar to ReZero, it's gonna have plenty of dark twists and turns. Like, even within the first 5 minutes of the first episode, we were already shown people getting brutally murdered by AIs. And that's what made the show for me too. Most of the time for this sort of time travel premise, we are usually just given a quick glimpse or mentions of these apocalyptic futures, and never really the full scale of it. But for this show, we are never teased about it, we are outright shown the brutal future from the beginning and understand what the stakes are, so it actually helps to draw us in and we become invested in the story, so we'll keep coming back to see what will happen next. You definitely won't get bored because of how it manages to switch from the lighthearted mood of the show to become something dark and depressing while hitting you with that sense of realism and remind you that the situation they are facing is not a laughing matter. Like, we know the eventual future that Matsumoto was from will arrive because of the way the story progresses with the time jumps, but what we don't know is whether or not the mission they carried out have really helped to stop that AI apocalypse from happening. It's actually a cool way to show development in the story and for the main characters as well. Oh, speaking of main characters, I would say you will either love them or hate them. Some might find Matsumoto annoying with his bad jokes and high-speed information dumps, or that Vivy is very bland and lacks emotions most of the time. But I personally really like the both of them, as they have their quirks, and the traits they have aren't played for cliches or for the sake of plot device. They both actually play off each other really well, even if sometimes they do have conflicting objectives, but they stay true to their mission, although they have different ways of executing it, and it's a plus when they aren't like cardboard characters. They don't exactly follow like a do this, do that type of story. They will argue with each other, voice out their concerns, and sometimes try to convince each other about what is right or what is wrong. Like for Vivy, she wants to protect as much people as she can to fulfill her mission of making everyone happy with her singing, while Matsumoto mainly cares about following the timeline that was set out to prevent the AI apocalypse, so he doesn't really care about other events that has no relations to their mission, even if it means letting a plane full of passengers to die. I actually found it funny, and it somewhat makes sense why Vivy, an AI programmed to just sing, would decide to help Matsumoto. Because of her desire to fulfill her own mission, she concluded that if humanity was wiped out in the future, then she won't have anyone to sing to. And I mean, yeah, that's kind of selfish, but you can't deny it's a very logical way to twist her own programming to align with Matsumoto's mission. I mean, she is supposed to be the first autonomous AI, so she does have a desire to understand humans more and the emotions that make them human. Also, like I said, the show has a lot of philosophical themes, and being a character-driven show, most of the time, it's Vivy that will bring up certain philosophical arguments or expressions. Like, what does it mean to put your heart into something? It's definitely an interesting way to write her character. She is almost like Pinocchio trying to become a real boy, but for Vivy, she's just trying to learn from humans and other AIs, so she could have more emotions and become less robotic. It actually does help to make her character realistic and relatable in some way, as we see how she tries to figure out the questions around her. As we all know, these sort of things can be really subjective, and it's up to how they personally interpret these questions. I would also like to point out that Vivy and Matsumoto aren't the only well-written characters in the show. Each of the side characters we meet are also well-written characters, especially the sisters of Vivy. I mean, they do rely on certain stereotypical character archetypes, but they do feel interesting and realistic enough that will have you feeling emotional or caring deeply about them with just a couple of episodes. But besides the well-written characters and story of Vivy, it's also one of the most visually stunning shows I've seen this season. There were so many scenes throughout the episodes that are just breathtaking to look at, like the beautifully rendered hand-drawn stills and very attractive backdrops that help make the world or scenes feel real. And don't get me started on the times when the anime shows Vivy's character, especially when we are shown her face and the details on the eyes were just simply put,
You're breathtaking!
From first glance, you can tell that Studio WIT and the people on this project put a lot of love and dedication into making this, and you have to commend their commitment to make it look stunning, even till the most recent episodes. And it's very obvious they want this show to succeed. I also hope it does. Of course, with their stunning art, the animation accompanying it is also on another level, and we all know Studio WIT is in their element when it comes to fast-paced and intense action scenes that will give you an orgasmic experience. I mean, if you somehow in whatever universe don't know who Studio WIT are, they're responsible for animating Vinland Saga and Attack on Titan before it was passed over to MAPPA. They definitely upped their game with the fight scenes, and it's really strange that not more people are talking about it. Oh yeah, since this is considered to be a music or either type anime, there's definitely no shortage of good ass soundtracks, and you will not be disappointed by them. And you definitely get hooked listening to the songs sung by Vivy and the other AI sisters. The soundtracks aren't used just for the purpose of setting the mood or emotion to certain scenes, they also serve to add meaning to each of the scenes and the effects it has on Vivy herself. I guess it's not surprising since it was composed by Satoru Kosaki, the person behind the music for most of the Monogatari series, and even Beastars. Even the person that provides the vocals for the OP Sing My Pleasure, Kairi Yagi, managed to give such a convincing performance. And if you pay close attention to it, you can actually hear how she tries to make the song sound both warm but also robotic at the same time. Studio WIT definitely didn't skimp on the sound quality of the show, and the soundtracks are one of the many reasons I was so immersed whenever I watched this anime, and damn, it will definitely make you feel all kinds of emotions. All in all, Studio WIT definitely came back strong after handing Attack on Titan to another studio, and Vivy Fluorite Ice Song is without a doubt their way of showing people their studio isn't messing around, and this anime is seriously a masterpiece, with its incredible visuals and stunning soundtrack, followed by some incredibly well-written characters and ingenious methods of storytelling. As of recording this, the anime has already reached the halfway point and it still maintains the high quality stuff we got from the beginning, and I'm really happy that that it has moved up so much in the rankings. Vivy Fluorite song may be classified as a musical anime, but that doesn't mean it isn't dark, serious, or action-packed. And I know that it will become an instant classic of modern anime, so you should definitely not sleep on this show. So let me know in the comments down below if I have managed to convince you about Vivy Fluorite song, or if I haven't, then why not tell me why you think that this show isn't worth watching. With that said, if you enjoyed the video, remember to leave a like and don't forget to subscribe for more anime content in the future. Be sure to check out my previous review on the Quintessential Quintuplets and the recent Demon Slayer movie. Thanks for watching, have a great day, and as always, stay safe everyone.